Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Danny Snow, customer experience expert, speaker, Disney enthusiast, and he helps organizations differentiate the service they provide to build customer loyalty. Welcome to the show, Danny.
Thank you very much for having me. I've been looking forward to this. So I'm looking forward to a great conversation.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show, Danny. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about how one can master this whole concept of customer loyalty. In this backdrop, we'll have our conversation. But before that, Danny, if you, let's learn a bit about you, your journey, your background, so that the audience knows who they are listening to.
Sure. Well, yeah, I'm born and raised here in Orlando, Florida.
Sorry to interrupt you, Danny. I think there is a bit of a static. How do we take care of that?
Let's see. Yeah.
Now I cannot listen to you, hear you. Okay. Can you try? No. Your audio is not coming.
How's that now? Is that any better?
Better, much better.
Perfect. Sorry about that. But I was saying, so I grew up here in Orlando. You know, my family all worked out at Disney World. So we kind of grew up with this whole concept of the Disney experience and really how to learn how to deliver a loyalty driving experience. And so we started a family consulting company, and we work with organizations around the world that they want to really raise the bar of service. And so we kind of take those principles that we learned during our time out at Disney World and look at ways that we can help companies differentiate their service. Because as we see, products and services are really commodities these days. You know, you can get the same product at a lot of different places. And really what it comes down to is that experience that you deliver to your customers. And that's really what's going to bring people back and really help instill that service or that culture of loyalty. So that's just a little bit about us and what we do.
Absolutely, Danny. So let's understand it a bit from your understanding of things. You know, after your college, MBA, you became part of your family business, Snow and Associates, and you got into a top customer service speaking training companies in the world. So tell us a bit about that. And, in terms of what did you teach there? What did you learn there so that the audience also, a lot of people who are into small businesses, mid-sized businesses, big companies, they have their own way of thinking. But those people who want to learn from your experience there.
Yeah, so after college, I joined in. My folks had started a consulting company back when I was in high school, and I came in and started doing the sales and marketing, where we were reaching out to a lot of different associations. My goal was booking my father, Dennis, to go and speak at these industry events and hopes of kind of getting in with the different companies that make up the associations there. So we did a lot of different marketing campaigns, a lot of cold calling, a lot of just getting him on the road and speaking to whoever we could, getting him on the right stages. And over the years, then I started looking for ways where, hey, now I can get myself out on the road here, going and speaking, talking about our customer service background, our Disney background. And it's still a lot of cold calling, still a lot of email blasts out there and trying to network and meet the right people. But it was all focused on how can we take what we've learned during our career at Disney and customizing it to the different industries that we work with. That's banking or healthcare. We work with funeral directors, law firms, and really everything has to be customized based on the industry that you're working in. But the principles that we cover really end up being pretty similar. How we're designing our processes to be customer friendly. How we get everybody on the team to see the experience through the lens of the customer. and how we pay attention to the details and know that everything we're saying is in alignment with what our brand mission statement is, to make sure that we deliver on that every single day. And so really that's our goal as a company is to get out there as often as we can and spread that message.
Right, right. Danny, you will have to do something. Well, the audio again, it was a bit, you know, this part we can always cut out later, no problem, whenever there is a. But I don't know what you did earlier on, but it came out well for quite some time.
Okay, well, I apologize for that. Let's see if I can change my mic here real quick. I'm gonna do a different one. One moment here.
Yeah, take your time. Sometimes it happens sometimes.
All right. How is that now?
Yeah, much better, much
Much
better.
better. All right.
Yeah.
Different microphone. So we'll see. Hopefully this one works out better.
Yeah, it
for
should be. It should. It should. It should. So, Danny, I want to understand. In this backdrop, how should we look at today's customer experience world? Is it that customers are bad, companies are very good, or is it companies are not so good and customers are good? How do you look? What do companies want? What is it that customers want? Where does this mismatch come in? Because this doesn't seem to be one area problem. This seems to be happening all across the world and everywhere. Customers will have, when if you talk about a customer, every customer you talk, they have a very difficult story especially with the customer service experience.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of great customer service out there, but there really is a lot of just bad service out there. And along with rising customer expectations. We are so used to, we want everything right now, with Amazon and a lot of companies like that have made life so easy, and you're able to get things so quickly that when you don't experience that, it's really noticeable. And, I think it comes down to training. A lot of companies, they need somebody, they hire, they train to do the job, whatever those tasks are that make up the job, but there's very little training and how to actually interact with the customers and how to help solve problems. There's really not a lot of empowerment where if there is a customer issue, you've got to go through several channels in order to help them solve that problem. And all along the way, this is just increasing the frustration on the side of the customer. And so, like at Disney World, everybody goes through the Disney Traditions program. It's all about the history of Disney, everybody, how they help build it up. Great examples of cast members going out of their way to deliver a great experience for the guests. And, when you start hearing this and it's starting to be reinforced on a regular basis, employees across the company now start to look for ways where, how can I go and do this? How can I raise the bar? And when you can build that and make that part of the culture, that's when you stand out like a Disney and like an Amazon. And people think that these are multi-billion-dollar companies, so of course it's easy to do that. But when it comes down to it, I mean, every single company, I don't care how big or small you are, doing the little things, obviously being friendly, but being adaptable, being able to design your processes to be as easy as possible for the customers. We often want to make it for our convenience. We want to make our lives as easy as possible, as opposed to working to make the customers' lives easier. And so you start reaching all these different friction points. And at each way, yes, every single customer out there has a horrible experience with one company or another. And I mean, we hear it at Disney. Obviously, Disney's lines are long. It's hot out there. It's crowded. So there's issues. I don't care what company you work for. There's no perfect company out there. But what Disney does is they really research and look for ways to make those difficult moments better. Whether they can fix it or not, they might not be able to fix it, but they can sure make it a lot better. And that's where I think they really shine through. And that's one of the things we try to teach people too is, all right, what are those areas of frustration that we know are there? Now let's bring people together. Let's brainstorm on ways that we can help to solve this problem. Not necessarily having to give money back or give something away for free, but is there something we can do to make this situation a little bit better when there is a problem that comes up?
Absolutely, absolutely. So why do you think, how will the companies find a solution if they don't spend time in thinking exactly how they can even reduce the pain of a bad customer service for the customers. Like you talked about Disney, that people stand in long queues, and then there everywhere there will be one complaint or the other. But how you make it easy for others? What is it that stops companies from making it easy for customers who have whatever little or more grievance they had? And at the same time, you talk about that the customer is not always right. Does it mean that the companies think that the customer is not always right, and that translates into the customer is not right for all those people who are dealing directly with the customer? Sometimes it's very, very bad service, and we know it. People hate calls, you know it, and now that is why they are using all those robocalls and all.
Yeah. Oh, no, no, it's a lot out there, and a lot of companies, they just tolerate from poor experience and poor service that their employees deliver. Because ultimately, they just need somebody there, and it's easier just to keep them rather than going through the process of firing and hiring and finding somebody new. They look at that part, but the long-term damage by keeping these employees who are not living up to the company standards. That's going to hurt you a lot more in the long run. And I think some companies are just not willing to spend the money. They're not willing to take the time to fix these issues. Like Disney was talking about waiting in line there. That was always from day one, the number one thing that they always heard about. So, they started those wait time talks out there, letting you know 30 minutes or whatever it is. And they would be cheap by 5 minutes. So, you get that little moment of 25 minutes, it was 30. It's that little moment. They started being on the rise, so that waiting in line portion is part of the experience.
Danny, I would have to interject. Audio is not working very well. I know if there is some portions, what I can do, Danny, is that some portions we could have cut out later on. But if it will not do justice to the audience, not you, not to us. I would suggest this I can always remove from the system. We look at things
Yeah.
for later on and try and work it out better, because it will be a lot of learning that is needed, that is there, that should be there for the audience. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm really sorry.
Now it is better.
Yeah, I tried a different microphone option here, so I'm just working my way down from the best to the worst option. But
it looks like again it has become better. So let's try it out. Okay, maybe the difficult ones, the difficult audio, I can always remove it later on. Sorry for this audience, but I'm sure there is a lot of great learning here from Danny, and whatever portions you can hear, those will be great. That will be a lot of knowledge that is already there. So I want to understand from you, Danny, is that in terms of how can companies consistently wow? And you have to also explain the customer is not always right. What does it mean? What do you want to say through this line? Obviously, you want the best service for the customers, but here, help us understand this.
Yeah, and so really that adage has been around forever. The customer is always right, and it does cause, I think, a lot of trouble, because very often they are wrong. They walked by, they didn't see the sign, they filled out the wrong paperwork, they made some kind of mistake, and now it's causing an issue here. And I think a lot of times us as employees, and it's easy, we want to kind of feel high and mighty and want to point out to them how they were wrong, the mistake that they made, and make them feel small. But that's a horrible thing to do if you're trying to build customer loyalty. If you're going to make me feel stupid, I'm very unlikely to want to come back and do business with you. And it was one of my father's friends out of Disney, Jim Cunningham. He said the customer may not always be right, but let's allow them to be wrong with dignity. And that was something that I thought always just really stayed with us, because our goal is, if we can help them understand what went wrong, and see that and be able to still fix it for them by letting them keep their dignity along the way. Now we're building that relationship, and now we've got something to work with. And that's one of the ways to wow people too. Is Gallup did this research a number of years ago on the customer expectations, what customers expect from any organization they do business with. And there was 4 elements to it. It was they were available, they were accurate in the information, the price, but that they would partner with you. They would make you feel like you were part of this whole experience. You were with them step by step instead of just processing them through. And you would provide advice. They would become now better off because of their interaction with you. And so we would teach organizations now, all right, regardless of what industry you're in, for each role across the organization, what would accuracy look like at excellence? What would the availability look like at excellence? Partnership and advice at excellence. And when you can start identifying those areas of opportunity, and you can get every single person along the organization working at that level, now, regardless of who I interact with as the customer, I'm going to get a consistent experience from day to day. And I'm not now just at the whims of whatever customer service rep I happen to be dealing with this day. Now I know that every single person has been trained, they've been coached on what this excellent experience is supposed to look like from the point of view of the customer. And that's where I think you can really start to wow the people that you serve. When you get the whole company understanding that their mission is to deliver this experience, that's when you're going to stand apart from 99% of the competition that you have out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Or is it that, the companies realize that there is nothing called customer loyalty in today's time? Customer will always look at the best deal and will only come to you when you are either the only one who is there, you have a monopoly in that particular space, or you are giving the best deal. How do you look at this term called customer loyalty in today's time? Is it that companies are understanding only customer loyalty and not customer experience, and that is where they are making the mistake of losing customers? Help us understand customer loyalty as well as customer experience here.
Right. There's always going to be people that they're looking for the best deal, the lowest price. There's always going to be that segment. There's not a whole lot that you could do there, but the overwhelming majority, I mean, study after study nowadays will show that the price and the product are no longer enough. That you've got to have that experience is what's going to drive that ultimate loyalty. Because you look at Disney World. So we got here in Orlando, we got Disney, we got Universal Studios, SeaWorld, we've got Fun Spot, an hour away, we've got Busch Gardens, and they've got all these amazing thrill rides at all these parks. And the other parks are quite cheaper than Disney. But time after time, Disney World, they rank as one of the top tourist destinations in the entire world. And it comes down to, because from the moment you even start to plan your vacation out of Disney, until the moment you leave at the end to go back home, everything in between there, to them, that's the product, because it's the experience, right? They're not just selling thrill rides. Where you go to Universal Studios, I mean, Velocicoaster, Hagrid's, Motorbike Adventure, they've got some of the best rides out there. And Universal does a great job too, but Disney just takes it to that next level. And I think that's where the companies that buy into that concept of we want to go after the customer loyalty, because if we just go to the lowest price, eventually somebody's going to come along, they're going to have a lower price. They're going to put us out of business. So we've got to have that focus on the experience. And that is what is ultimately going to drive the loyalty in the long run.
Right. So seeing the state of customer service today, how do you think companies can get back the customer on their side? Maybe not in terms of loyalty, but at least, as you said, that was those great words, that let the customer be wrong, but with dignity, something like that. Now, how do companies do that? Because, and who will do this? The CEO, several times you see the CEO is more focused on finding a better place for himself or herself. Middle management is busy in their own lives, and the customer care executive have got clear instructions. In fact, several of this job is now outsourced, and you can't reach the people whom you need to reach for any sort of customer service. You only get those bots nowadays. So amidst this, how can company reclaim their space that they have lost for themselves? That's where people are talking about that we'll rather go to our nearest shop, and that at least there will be much more human connection.
Yeah, well, obviously, I would love to see more companies go back away from outsourcing. And there's obviously all the AI and chat bots and all these things that are coming in that just removes that human connection completely. And that's where I think some of the smaller stores, and it seems like even malls and some of these other stores are kind of having a resurgence, because now people are realizing we want that human connection. Yeah, like a
Yeah.
lot of the food market stores like Publix or Albertsons or Kroger's, they had this big push to the self checkouts, and a lot of stores are taking those away now. And they're finding that, yeah, having people, and now we got to get the right people. We got to train for it. We got to make sure that they are not just there to go through the motions, but they're there again, wanting to interact and wanting to build those connections. I think that's where companies really need to focus on. Is obviously that the bottom line is the main focus for every organization. But when you see the companies that do succeed and have been around for the long run, they are the ones that put that effort into the emotional and human component to it all. And so that's what I would love to see more of. And obviously AI is going to keep getting better and becoming more and more a part of our world here. But I think we continue to lose that human touch in a lot of ways. And my hope is that we can see it swing back the other way at some point.
Wonderful, wonderful. I too want to be that hopeful along with you, Danny, because there's nothing more better than dealing with another human and who understands your issues. Because nowadays it's very difficult to even get to anyone and to explain things to them, and
Yeah.
many a times they have put those pre-entered replies which you again find, and then you go somewhere else, and again you will go somewhere else. By that time you are out of patience. Danny, I want to understand, you talk about the Disney experience difference. I know why no one beats Disney in customer experience. Oh, help us. A lot of people have not gone to Disney, they have only heard about it in different
Yeah.
parts of the world. Whoever listens to you, how should they understand what this Disney experience is all about? How does the customer feel
Mhm.
when they experience this Disney experience?
Yeah.
Maybe some of the people who are also business owners, they can bring that whole experience to their customers, whichever part of the world they are in.
Yeah. So I really, with me growing up, parents working there, going to Disney all the time, I didn't really realize the Disney difference there until I got a little bit older and started visiting other theme parks around the country. And that's where you saw it. It really is the people that work there. It's the cast members. It's the way that they look to engage with the guests in the park. Smiles on their face, always helpful. They're knowledgeable. They can tell you where to get to around the park. Their information isn't going to contradict what the previous cast member just told you. And we go to some of these other theme parks, and there's plenty of people that are good there. So it's not to say that they're just not. But what you find is that the most part, they're there to do the job. They're there to push the button, make the ride go. They're there to take the tickets, but they don't look for any ways to make the day stand out for those guests that are in the park. And to me, that's the main difference, because you can get these great thrill rides at all these parks. So you can't compete just on that. But it comes down to everybody on the team being on the lookout to make that experience. And we visited a couple other parks around here just recently, and that still stands out to me, where you've got the team members there, they're talking amongst themselves. We're standing there waiting to board the ride. We're just kind of, and they don't pay any attention to us. They just are doing what they want to do without a care in the world for us. They send us to the wrong entrance of the rides. We have the fast pass version for these different parks. They send us to the wrong way. The other team members tell us, no, you got to go over here. Nobody really knows what is going on. And to me, that's what it really comes down to is the knowledge, the people, the way that they all look to really engage with the guests is such a big part of the Disney difference. And where Disney will suck you into the storytelling. Again, at the rides, they're all themed to whatever it is, whatever ride it is. We were on the new Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which was Splash Mountain, but it's a new ride now. And in the Disney app, you can go in, you can create pictures, AI generated pictures of you as the Disney villains. they've got all these different things that have, so me and my wife and my kids, we've got these cool pictures. But what we're doing is we're waiting in line, right? We're standing there for 45 minutes or an hour, but we're having fun. We don't even realize the time's going by. And it's those kinds of pieces where, obviously there's a cost to make that app do what it needs to do, but it's one of those elements where most companies don't take the time to do it. They're going to be there in the park, so they can just wait in line. But Disney says, all right, along with the theming of the ride, let's give you some things that you can do to, again, keep your mind off of the fact that it's hot. You've been out here all day long. You've spent thousands of dollars, to bring the whole family out here. What are those things that people are going to remember? And it's those kinds of details that I think they do so well that these other theme parks don't. And to me, that's really the Disney difference.
Absolutely. So is it about the training to the staff? Who is responsible? Because other places, as you said, people will show you some other direction, and not many are bothered.
Yeah.
Who is responsible for this? Is it the individual who doesn't know about all these things, or is it the training manager or whoever it is? How do you see where there's the training lack here? Help us understand that, and how do companies then take care of this part, within their systems?
So it starts with hiring. Hiring. Disney hires the right people. They have part of their job descriptions are things like picking up trash. Doesn't matter what role you have in the company. If you're walking through the park, you see a piece of trash on the ground, it's your job to go over, pick it up, throw it away. All right, it's not just the janitor's job. So I mean, it starts there. Then you do the training. And from there, then you get assigned to your attraction, your store, whatever it is that you're working. And you have ongoing training from the team lead at that particular area. From there, you've got ongoing coaching. If you are ever seen walking by a piece of trash without doing it, or you don't handle something properly, managers are going to coach you on it. And a lot of these other places, again, it's okay, we need somebody, we hire, go do the job. Here's how you do it, go do it. There's not that upfront training from hiring managers or the training managers or whoever it is. There's not the ongoing coaching. So it is a system-wide piece to it that Disney does, that I think that's where a lot of the other companies fall short, is they don't have any of those systems in place to train the people to deliver the kind of service that they need to.
Absolutely, Danny. So I want to ask this question. This is my last question. Is the customer still the king, or has he relinquished that position?
I think customer, obviously it's still the king. Obviously they've got the money. We all want to have it, and we can't succeed without them. So that's again, we want to do everything that we possibly can to make them want to come and spend their time and their money with us. So I think 100%.
100%. And 100%, there is so much to learn from you, Danny, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to learn about all these things from you and be a part of, all this learning, including the learning from the Disney difference. What's the best way for them to connect with you, Danny?
Perfect. Yeah, you can reach us through our website, and it's just www.snowassociates.com. We'd love the chance to partner with you. If there's ever anything that we can do to help your audience, we would certainly love that. On LinkedIn at Danny Snow. But I really want to thank you for having me, sharing me and my message here with your audience there. This was a lot of fun for me.
You're welcome. Great. With these words of wisdom, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Bye. Thank you.